Hey,
Calm down over there.
perhaps a bit too quick on the F.
You must learn
That
as a one.
is an elevator.
I bet it will move automatically.
But when I'm playing, it's okay. It's never too early. You need to be like,
See if it's on the right. There's a button. Nope, no, back in. Back in.
Oh.
Beep.
I like the attention to detail, the little
button
picture
There is.
on every.
All right, I think you should go to floor 3.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll do my best.
All right, try real hard.
I'm trying.
Are we still aspiring to floor 6 though? In all seriousness, because remember that was where Alice Wade had
really?
her office set up.
Oh.
I'm paying attention to the story.
Press any key. Welcome. Son of a bitch. Something. Interval 6. Oh, we made it to 6.
Interval 6.
As requested.
That's awesome.
You're gonna have to hustle to intercept.
Here we go. Here we go.
Devs playing other games is impossible. We actually made this game.
Yes,
So, we aren't playing other games.
that's true. And
One
actually,
single headshot. All the penetrator takes.
for those just joining us, we're gonna have Nathan Grigg, who actually did all the sound. I know you guys did, but have all the sound ready by around 4 o'clock.
Hello, horse you can fly. Nice to see you.
Oh my god. What did I do? That was not the right button.
There you go.
It's fine. It's fine.
We haven't seen Paxton better
He's more of a talkative type.
when his mouth was full with human flesh.
Right. Good shot.
That refrigerator's not going any off.
Ay ay.
If I may.
Yes, you may.
Slow mo.
Thank you.
It's been a
No,
couple
actually,
days.
I think it's a sitting. It's a sitting switch.
Huh?
Oh, is
Are you
it?
sure?
It's
Yeah.
it's the full.
Oh, yeah.
Slide down.
CD.
Okay.
That works.
Oops, sorry everybody whose ears exploded from me hitting the microphone.
All right, floor 6. We go up there. We have a meeting with Alice Wade.
He's all the way on the other side of the research area from you. You're gonna have to hustle to intercept.
Okay, we get a hustle to intercept. Hustling, we can do.
Do the hustle.
I see a lot of bogeys out there.
So I see a lot of people explaining that their ears exploded, similar to that person's ear.
God, it really
That
was.
person's. Oh,
Ow! Ow! You have a stake in your ear.
I feel that he's made a mistake.
Oh.
And we do a little bit of. Did I kick a person at him?
You kicked the guy who was
I
dead.
yeah,
Okay,
I
you
kicked
play
a person.
again.
You sure?
Yeah, you play one more time. I will,
that
I will
okay?
play.
Okay.
And then I will. I feel like if you get, let's say you have a 3-minute aura, unless you're just repeatedly dying.
3-minute aura unless you die 3 times.
Yeah.
That works. Tactical Raven, Monolith Truth, thank you for moderating. The Headless Army. I prove it, he says. I'm suing, says the Headless Army. Well, you don't have a head, so you can't have any explanation about how you have it, like, any form of hearing loss.
I just realized the stake gun, one thing, is it's got a bit of a spread on it, doesn't it? Or
It does. It doesn't really aim at the cursor. It sort of aims in the general thought of where the cursor could be.
Yeah, I think that's okay though, because to be honest, I feel like a stake probably wouldn't be the most accurate. Exactly, right? Like the ballistics are a bit off.
Boop, 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 boop. And give myself Uno heal. And back. And run, run, run. Good jump, good jump. Good jump. If only you had thought through that track and field scholarship and did not join the military. Alright.
Those guys are adroit. Give them props for that.
Let's see. Oh, it moved! Hey. Ow! I should have thought of that, actually. And I did that incorrectly.
There's armor, there's a health pack.
That's-
Dude.
What a joy.
Christmas comes early in F.E.A.R. The Headless Army. Why did you assume my body part? Your name clearly calls yourself the Headless Army. I think you should stop promoting the incorrect body part you are. Just saying. It's a marketing decision. We actually have a lot of stakes right now. We have a lot of stakes in this
We
issue.
got a lot of stakes in this game. I am excited because that's clearly the best gun in the game.
It's the most fun. Yeah. Oh, thank you.
An IT storage shed.
Excuse me. Hello. My computer's been stuck on the Windows updating screen for the last 40 minutes. Oh, a proximity mine. One of the things we always find in our IT group.
I'm looking for some coax.
Perfect. Let's see. Any chance F.E.A.R becomes backwards compatible on the Xbox? I don't know.
Yeah, it's the short answer is probably no.
No one's
because it's not. It's something we would have to actually spend some time working on here, and that's not what we're doing.
And currently, it's offline.
Yeah, I looked though. I was hoping that it was backwards compatible. We were actually looking earlier because we had this right that we were gonna do. We were gonna do that one, and it was like now we got the PC version. Our IT buddy with the cactus.
You know, I told you guys that the cactus was a tool that could be very successful and protective. Seems like that's exactly what he's been doing. And do you think he's been hiding behind the cactus?
Maybe.
I'm gonna do a save real quick because I have to. All right, wow.
Yeah, you can't shoot. That's. I feel like that's okay.
It's one of those things where they would have him react in some way if they wanted us in some capacity to be allowed to shoot the guy.
Don't put a stake in me.
But since you know, or more bad mistake puns.
Right. I have really so much come to admire, even more so, Craig Hubbard's writing and versatility in so many of these games. Going from Shogo, seeing F.E.A.R, No One Lives Forever. The humor comes through, though.
All right,
And
these
everything
are
he's done.
the remote mines. These are the normal grenades.
Okay.
These fast-opening doors spook me. Wait, we came through here, did we not?
Are cactuses good
No, I
luck,
think-
Monolithic? Is that true? That could be true.
Oh, look!
Whoa. That's a whole lot of army guys.
Excuse me. You have
Right
the
there.
time? It's just, Oh,
Oh, look at that. I wish you could put a stake through all of them, like one shot.
That would be so good.
Yeah, like all those good sniper games. Just like, hi, Allie. Oh, that's one of those leather and lightning dudes.
That sounds like a very different game.
I'm saying that's gonna be the title of my F.E.A.R fanfiction. If I ever start paying attention to the story of this game enough to write something.
Right.
So let me borrow that medkit, grazie.
Oh, yeah, you need some help.
Whoop.
It's a good run, though.
Where am I doing? I have 3 in health packs. Cool, cool. Alright, we got one over there.
Perfect.
Sir, hold this for me. Oh, damn it.
So, Mishu, the objective right now, yeah, keep the ghosts away, Monolithic. I think that's as fair a point as any. The objective right now is we're kind of we're hunting somebody named Paxton Fettle, who is controlling all of these drone clone army people. And then in this building with us as well is this psychic Hellraiser named Alma Wade. And I think we're trying to get to the bottom of her backstory. So we're being hunted in some ways by 2 entities, one more directly and malevolently than the other. Alma has been mostly responsible for weird hallucinations we've been having, and she's been trying to get our attention.
You've been playing a very different game than I have. I thought I was 3rd place in the Miss America pageant.
Oh yeah, that too, of course.
This is when they said, like, could you show off a talent? I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Throw me
right,
into a
of
military base with live fire situations.
Right. That's a perfectly respectable interpretation.
Haven't you seen Miss Congeniality 3? Congeniality 3. Damn it, that's the word.
Yes, the army people are just sleeping. Thank you.
They're just sleeping.
And we've got the guns in case they wake up. That was
It's
a joke on Twitter.
I hit them with the sleep dart. This is called and then they go to sleep.
Yeah.
They're
The intracranial sleep dart.
look, it's just fast intravenous, all right? Why do you guys keep these laying around? Like, I mean, thank you, but
In the graphics section, they really do hold up pretty well. When you like kind of get into it and see like,
oh, there you go.
goes.
Oh, that's right. Corpse disposal.
Well, it's one of those games that the graphics are clean.
Yeah, clean. Yeah.
So you
Also-
run around, and then you're like, okay, I can tell the differences. I know what I'm looking at.
Right.
Like, there's definitely, like even playing Shogo, it's clean. And then there are moments when you're like, it's 20 years old. But this one is, since it's 13, everything is like, knows how to make itself look like a wall. Look like a door.
Thank you, Z. That is a really nice thing to say. Very cool. Just want to tell you best. Your games are addicting too. That's really nice. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right? The team works really hard at this stuff.
They do. And then we get to just tell everybody how cool it is. And we're like, look, isn't this fun? You should do this.
Yeah.
Alright. Turn on the light. I thought I saw something back here. Nope.
DirectX 9. You know, I don't know that, DX, but I bet you Nathan will. I
I mean, it's I don't know if you would, because it would be related to the video as opposed to the audio stuff.
Yes, but like
This guy
integrate that stuff.
has lived a lot.
Never underestimate sound people's ability to know video. Ooh, look at that. That's a nice one. Ali, you had asked a question earlier about upgrading weapons. You can't upgrade weapons in this. This is one of the classic shooters where basically what you see is what you get. In fact, we were talking about that a couple streams ago. I think when Zane was here, remember that, Tracy? I think you were hanging, and we were just talking about like this is still the era where you would get a weapon, that would be it, but you wouldn't have that modular aspect to it.
And it was related to that idea that the thought process was that you could give players more and more weapons as they continue to go through the game. And they learn mastery with the weapons and combinations as opposed to experiencing the development of skill and progression from the strength of the weapon.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm definitely a person who, wow. That was a good shot for that guy.
But if you kick his body, will he like swing from it? Yes!
C Headless says, played this, never finished it, too scared. That's why we're doing it together.
With the lights on.
With the light.
Hold on. We can actually
The lights
increase his swinging momentum.
Oh my god.
Just think he's pinioned on that little stake.
Happy Halloween, everybody.
No, you're right. I was gonna say we gotta make that a GIF. That's pretty funny.
Poof.
Yeah, poof.
Please clip that, somebody.
If his corpses are rocking.
Ooh. Then shoot it with a stick.
Yeah.
That actually sounds exactly like something for Halloween. Corpse a rockin', shoot it with a stick.
Yeah.
Alright, that guy lost his gun. You're exposed.
Mom's exposed.
Burn.
Yeah. Jim, that's actually what we're going through right now. Whenever we get a new weapon, we're like, oh, what do we want to drop? What do we need to drop? What are we gonna? Although we always keep the penetrator, it seems like.
It's just too fun.
It's too fun.
But it's also very good. Yeah, it looks like we have to do the... Oh, okay. So, I guess I have to jump off of here.
Yeah, Ali, Shadow of War.
Sorry, that was a crow.
By far our biggest ambition. It does get a fair amount of attention. Also our latest. But like some of these games we're playing now are just like the old school back catalog stuff that Monolith did, that they've had their day, but now that we're getting these anniversaries, we figure it's kind of fun to play them again. And 13th anniversary for Steam, or for F.E.A.R. seemed appropriate.
For Steam.
For Steam.
All of Steam.
Steam officially is 30 years old.
No. It existed before GameSpy,
Yeah.
which... What's the button from Do?
It's
you
the
want-
middle mouse button.
The middle mouse? Or Mark?
Or that.
First message from Genevieve Aristide.
Ooh, this person's important.
It's Genevieve. It seems the senator's plan failed. His special forces team has been unable to neutralize F.E.A.R. We should assume the worst. Instruct the security force to repel all outsiders. We need time to clean things up. End of messages.
I think they've already instructed ATF to, or ATC to, ATS, what are
Whatever.
they? Armicom Technology anyways, those cats have been shooting at us for a while now.
Yeah. You know, though also what I think is really like a terrible thing about this building is I don't see where the motion sensor is for this. How did they know to open the door? Sloppy.
Oh, Z says it's bright. Oh no, sorry, it's Ori. My fault. You're being terrifyingly dark. We've been in some pretty dark sections. This is actually a little bit brightly lit because it's like the office compound. There are still some pretty dark areas. We may be coming up to one, in fact.
Oh, hi.
Oh, that's
He's still hanging.
swingy.
Yeah, another swingy guy. That one spooked me. Oh, look, maybe that's the sensor.
Magic door.
So, I'm a little stuck in a very literal sense. So I imagine I'm supposed to hit this button.
Yeah.
Ah, there we go.
Oh, wait. Oh. You know, yes. You know how weird and creepy those monitors get.
I mean, they're not even like 11 by what is it now? 1080 by 20. They're the wrong ratio, 3 by 4.
Yeah.
Very old.
I like to have like how they have this here.
Brady.
You can see you just shooting through this.
Okay, so we're trying to go up.
I think so, but I'm gonna go left real quick. Well, because there's stuff that's spoopy.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I
maybe.
think we did come through.
I think so, because we got.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
And I don't see anything to pick up. So yeah, I think we did. Oh wait, I forgot the trick.
Thank you, Frederick.
Just
We still do shadow streams every Thursday, by the way. I know some people come on and they're like, wait, this isn't Shadow of War. We still do Shadow of War streams. We do them on Thursdays.
Oh wow. He
Was that our buddy?
yeah, he took the elevator and he's like, sayonara, sucker, and then he flipped us
He
off.
said sucker?
Yeah.
And flipped us off?
This is a children's stream.
Dick.
That monster.
That monster. You know who he kind of reminds me of? I wonder if he was slightly modeled after, is the guy from the original Jurassic Park. Remember him?
Yeah. It's the guy who's like
The lawyer guy?
Yeah.
Or-
No, what was his name? The actor?
The larger IT person who had written the...
that guy. Yeah, Nedry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that.
He kind of has that vibe.
Definitely familiar.
It was only until I was an adult that I understood that he was being bribed to sneak out embryos from Jurassic Park. Like, I didn't understand what he was doing. I was just like,
Took the cactus.
that monster!
Yeah, no, my parents
Mapes
did not let
eat
me
your
see that
friend.
movie when I came out.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad because I feel like I've avoided all of the Velociraptor-based trauma that like the entire rest of our generation
Right,
seems
right.
to have.
Oh, I really liked
acquired.
the film. I didn't get too much
Well,
stress.
I think when I was a kid and like when I was like seeing the previews and stuff for it, I definitely remember thinking, "Oh, this is a fun movie about a park filled with dinosaurs," and not really registering that.
Before you hit the thing. No, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tracy. I just realized this is the very person that we were talking about.
No one misses again.
Has again resisted rescue effort by F.E.A.R. Point Man. Why? Just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry, Tracy, you were saying.
Hashtag suspicious.
Yeah, suspicious. Very
Oh.
suspicious. That cactus was suspicious enough
The cactus was leading it the whole time.
the whole time. Right.
So, have you ever played the game Silent Hill? Or the first or the second?
Yes. Actually, I should be clear. I only played a little bit Silent. Silent Hill scared the crap out of me.
Well,
too.
it's a very crap scaring game. It's what happens with Silent Hill 2 is that they have multiple endings, and one of them is a dog is controlling everything. Is one of the secret endings, and you go in and it has a thing where this dog is wearing a headset,
Right.
and it's moving levers, and he comes over and he's like, "No, how a dog is controlling it?" And it's just like and then the dog comes over and like starts licking him, and that's the end of the game.
That is Gonzo.
Okay.
I salute that dedication.
Well, it was a secret ending. Like, I think it required you to
right.
do very insane things to have it happen.
Have the dog control everything.
Oh, look, there he is.
There he is.
We got the cactus, everybody.
Okay.
Let's get it out of here.
Oh, see, here we go. We're gonna get some scary darkness, I think.
What this does.
Buddy? What?
Dark Stoner, which I think is that name. Yeah, we've been telling people we're not going to remaster it for Xbox One. Unfortunately, we are playing. This is our Steam version. But yeah, like the remaster is a bit out of the purview of where we're at right now, doing the studio stuff. We're just doing this because it's the 13th anniversary, and we thought we would try to play through it as well as we can. Which I have to admit, so far, Jared, you've been on a hell of a run. Hell of a run.
Soon to be ended.
I don't know. I do like to throw in new things at you. Isn't that our first turret?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, so grenades work.
The cactus is the true antagonist.
I know, seriously, and it's right here. Tell us what you know.
Right.
Oh, God. It won't be hurting anybody anymore now. So we destroyed that thingy.
And now he's out.
So he tried to kill us. He legitimately gave us a turret thing and tried to kill us.
Oh, he called that. Okay, then he's, in the words of DX, not our friend.
I mean, look what he did to the poor cactus.
Oh yeah, look what he did. Look what he did.
So I can't do this.
Right, that's jammed up. Can you go up? Anything up?
Let's try this one. Like, go back.
Oh yeah, like a grate. Maybe there's grate.
Oh.
The ubiquitous elevator trapdoor.
If you can't go over it,
Right.
you can't go under it, look for the grate.
Game over. Never, Headless. We just started.
Game over, man. Game over.
Okay, but that's so yeah. So maybe in the elevator there's a hatch up, or
Maybe, yeah. Let's try the elevator again.
That's worth it.
It's good. It's a good shot.
A nice elevator.
I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really have any
Look at
paint.
the floor, though.
It's tiled. It would be really nice if it was like
pretty.
one chunk of granite, right? Like, it is actually a really good shader. Let's talk about the important things in this game, okay?
Right. Yeah,
So-
Attention to detail.
And alright, so that's been blown up. We've done damage.
all the fears that we've done.
Alright, there isn't a
there's
thing behind the painting.
Nobody working on those currently.
God, that would be an awful puzzle. Like behind one of those swinging bulletin boards.
Oh, terrible.
Oh yeah, and just one off.
That cactus had metal in it. It
Yeah.
did. It was a strong cacti. We'll salute you, cacti. Yeah, I'm gonna go back up and see if there's something
Right.
this way.
That seems like a good plan. That.
Caution operation by certified operators only. Psh, I can do it. I can twist the
How
knob.
much training do you need to twist a valve? I mean, honestly.
You know, you go to valve twisting school.
Yeah.
All right, so this is a down part.
Well, have we done that yet?
No.
Oh yeah, this is it. This is it right here.
Checkpoint. Yeah, here we are.
There we are. There we are.
So maybe it was we were supposed to go this way the first time and we made a mistake.
Can you shoot that window?
I'm just gonna save a stake.
Oh. Sure.
Oh, buddy. He jammed the door with the chair.
Oh, that's very clever.
Oh my god.
So now I ask, can we shoot the window?
Health pack in there.
I think
With maybe one of our worst ammo guns?
I think we can use something like this to.
Ooh!
Oh, almost.
All right, point man.
Did he really
No, I think this is just a chair that's.
just accidentally...
Ta-da!
Wow, that was an
Look at
unusual
this.
object.
Problem solving. So I really wish that button worked again for us. Someone left a mail here. Oh,
Oh! Are you kidding
oh
me?
that's our address.
That's not our address.
Well,
No, it used to be, right?
Is that our old
Yeah.
address? I don't know.
Kirkland, Washington, Monolith Productions. You know what? That is an awesome Easter egg. If you were like, yeah, we want fan mail, and you just put your address, that is super cool.
what about this guy? Is this also fan mail?
Longo.
Longo.
Folks Longo.
It's kind of like,
Sorry.
There.
It's beautiful.
oh,
Chair OP, please nerf. It's perfectly
it
balanced.
looks like Thor. Who's that actor? I can't believe I can't. Chris.
Hathaway.
No.
Hanson.
He's famous. We saw him at Comic-Con.
I know. I'm just having fun not getting the right name. So these are the remote mines.
Yeah, Easter egg we shoot. That's pretty cool. Hemsworth! Thank you.
Chris Hemsworth.
Not look like Chris Hemsworth at all. I'm sorry.
Oh, there's another one. So they want us to use the explodey grenades. That's why they give us more. So I'm gonna.
Oh,
All right, and click.
at least I have to this.
I will do my best, Mark. Back up, get a nice angle, and throw the. Oh, I hope you do it correctly, grenade. Cool.
David Longo, art director in this project. You are correct, DX, again with the good trivia.
Nice.
So that's what it is. So they're having a goof with Longo. Wow. Also, Longo was also the
I can't
art
do
director
that.
on No One Lives Forever.
Would you like this?
Yeah, heck yes.
All right.
All right, here we go.
All right. Oh, this is a perfect stopping point. Here, hold on. Actually, hold on. Save game.
Yeah, we've got it because that's just too cool.
I'm excited. Monolith Productions. Productions.
Okay. Oh, okay.
It's okay. I know that you do a lot of QA, but
All right.
don't worry about it.
All right, we're on always
fine
run.
with my life.
Everything's good.
Basti! It's nice to see you here, man.
Oh, yay. What's up? Buddy, what are you doing?
Chair is the true main
All right.
antagonist? No, it's the cacti. We
It
know
is
it's the cacti.
It's the cactus.
The chair is working with the cactus, though.
Okay, just.
All right,
it's
so the
down
grenade
here.
is coming up. There it is.
Whoa!
All right, so
Yeah,
you
I
throw
just-
the grenade down,
Okay.
press down on the directional pad to switch grenades.
Nope.
All right,
that
one more. Cool. So now it's perfect.
No, those are the time.
No, these
things.
are those are the remote. That's why it has
Oh.
the little remote trigger. So what I've been trying to do was slow time, throw the grenade, aim,
I
and then
did
click it right when it's time to blow up.
Oh well, that's gonna be totally easy.
Yeah, I think so.
Here we go.
So slow.
Whoa,
down
wow,
the time.
that's weird. Does your flashlight just decide it wants to go
No,
out?
it has a menu. All right, so
Yeah,
you throw the
it's the
grenade.
other
It's
Wait.
right bumper. Right bumper is your.
Oh, I just froze. Look at this.
Oh.
Here, I'm gonna save you real quick. Just bring us back. Okay.
That wasn't my fault. That wasn't my fault.
So it did just freeze. Weird.
It's been acting funky. Oh man.
The light turned it off.
Yeah.
Try to plug it real quick. See if that works.
Doo-doo-doo. The high production values here, folks. All right, ready?
All right, try again.
Dun, dun, dun.
Would you like to try the mouse keyboard?
Sure.
Would you like to switch spots? Actually, we don't have to in this case.
Oh yeah, let's do this. This will be real easy, you guys. Feel free to press F at any given moment because that's where we're gonna go.
Can we just see a stream of F?
Yeah.
All right, so right click.
So W goes forward, am I right?
Yes. And right click
this
will
is
slow down
horrible.
time.
Oh, this is
G,
horrible.
you'll throw your grenade. So G throws the grenade.
I thought G was grab.
There you go. Okay, and then back, and then watch it. Watch it. Go. No, go back. We need to see. Okay. Oh, we didn't. Oh, we're not throwing it far enough.
Oh, what are you talking about?
So we're not throwing the grenade far enough.
Yeah.
So it's a. Feel free to die.
Feel free.
No. Feel free to die and start over. And like, we won't count that because
All
it's
right.
within the 3-minute time.
That's right. The ineptitude is.
There's no ineptitude.
There we go.
No, that takes us all the way out.
Oh no, we don't do that.
You don't want to hit it. You just
All
click
right,
the
here we
button.
go. Oh, nice. All right. Oh, production. All right.
Production.
So what I've got.
Perfect.
That is a nice spot to be.
We should do it on the other guy next time.
Yeah. I see. That's right.
The door has a lock on the right. Ooh, interesting. So apparently we can run past it. Is that what you're saying, DX from YouTube?
This is the kind of.
Go left.
This the,
All right,
oh,
so
right
there's
there.
a lock on the door.
Okay, you know
So-
what? I like this much better.
All right, turn on the light.
Flashlight is
X.
X. Of course it
And then slow time and get that good aim on there. I bet you could shotgun from here. Okay.
Oh, tell me that worked.
Just get closer. Just get closer.
Oh, for Pete's sakes, I'm going for it.
All right, you got it. Now middle mouse button is the open the door. No, you can do it.
No. Middle mouse button.
That's the yeah.
This is what happens when you don't play keyboard
Just click the
shooters.
button.
Last time.
Just click the
last
button.
time. This is
Perfect.
my last time.
I think you're doing wonderfully.
You can do it
thank
this
you so
time.
much.
You got it.
You got it this time? All right.
Every time we get to read Monolith Productions, it's a better day.
Well, it's an iterative process.
Everything good is. That's not entirely true, but
But here we go. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go right like this. Boom.
do middle mouse button walk through door. See, Jurassic Park is great for all
Oh,
ages.
wow. Nice.
Oh, and then you probably hit the power to
yeah,
turn it
that
off.
makes a lot of sense.
So slow-mo time again, and then run.
Yeah. Getting my slow-mo back a little bit.
Cool.
And
Do.
Yeah, you're so right.
Middle mouse button. Okay, all the lights are off.
Oh.
Cool.
Yeah.
So remember when we were talking about the game not
health
being
pack.
dark?
What are you talking about?
I think the game is plenty dark now.
I mean, the game is all about hugs and candy and friendship.
Right.
It's a very light-hearted game.
Which I don't know that she's dead.
Dead girl.
Yeah, we don't know that she's dead. We've not determined that. All right. It's pretty standard research lab. You know what's funny? It is like you have to keep refreshing the flashlight.
Well, because it powers out. See?
That
It's a shake-up
is-
flashlight.
Oh, that is the coolest. I didn't know that, but that's awesome.
That's why it turns off every once in a while. And that's why we flicker it on and off, because it recharges faster than it goes down.
Oh, that's
So you can go click,
cool.
click, click,
That
click.
is so cool. I haven't noticed that before. Probably because I've died before I ever get the flashlight.
I'm going to hit F5.
Yeah, that was a good idea.
Quick save.
Okay, so...
You can shoot grenades midair, right? Probably.
Yeah, we'll try it.
Oh, mother flocker!
Fucker.
Are you kidding me? Get out of there.
Oh, buddy.
What is the story here? At least I'm just gonna go up to standard laboratory, really,
So it looks like the next step here
is to go over that way.
would be, well, you could try the grenade throw and shoot it in the air.
That is gonna be your call. Here we go. Ready? I'm gonna just book
Slow-mo
that way.
time, slow-mo time. Do, 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 do. Oh, not into it.
I know. You know what I was thinking? I was trying to be a bold move and just be like,
Do a switch with
I'm just gonna surprise everybody. I'm gonna throw up a crazy Ivan and just go. Nobody
Jump
will,
and kick it.
Nobody will expect this.
Do a kung fu kick.
The turret will never see this coming.
Oh, God. All right.
Okay, I'm ready.
A bold play.
So you can try through the window in the grenade explosion.
Shadow strike grenade.
Shadow strike.
I'm just gonna run.
I would
fucking
I'd
running.
go for a shadow pull on that one.
A shadow
Pull
pull.
the turret over.
But now that it's over here, what do we do with it?
Yeah, right. You just pull the turret over to you.
Did you think that went through? It's like, I wasn't thinking at all.
Wait,
So many things to press. That's the truth.
wait, that's where I came from. Oh god!
Shut it.
Oh god! It's also I got myself turned around, so
Switch to something else. And then try the grenade trick.
try to shoot the
Well, because it goes in
grenade.
slow-mo, right?
I guess.
Have either of you ever played Doom 3?
I've seen it be played. You don't have any grenades
Oh.
equipped right now. You have to, what's the grenade equip button on the keyboard?
I mean, I'm also just gonna go this way.
But this is where we came from.
Take
Is it where we
cover.
came from?
Yeah, this is where we
Okay.
came from.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, it's where I came in and got turned around.
We
right
need to have a
away,
team contract.
But we came from that door over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The fact
Yeah.
that there's a turret guarding it.
Yeah, we
seems
came
like
from over there.
Sign.
I might have turned around. I swear he walked through this and just
I
came out in
did.
a mirror room on the other
Yes,
side.
no, because I didn't actually walk through it. I walked in without my flashlight on and got turned around. That's, yeah.
Which is a cool. That's
Here we
I
go.
think that's a feature, right? Like,
Ooh, give yourself a heal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have 10, so what? Give yourself a heal.
Nice. And an F5.
And
There's
an
another turret.
F5.
Alright, so we
Oh,
need to
jeez.
use the grenade thing. There's
Okay.
too many turrets.
Just no way
Yeah,
around
yeah.
this.
So I've tried shooting, and shooting doesn't work.
But the turret does have a lot of ammo.
So,
Right, headless.
Alright,
How
you
do I
want...
switch the grenades?
So we can press down on the directional.
Or
If that works.
That's all I know. But if the controller isn't working anymore... Alright, yeah.
Did that work?
No. Alright, just press escape, and we'll create it right now.
How bizarre.
Technical difficulties.
Love it.
That's crazy to me that it just all of a sudden is like, I'm not into it anymore.
Select frag grenade is 4.
oh, they're numbers. Okay.
Perfect. 4, 5, and 6. Those are all the bombs we need to know.
Okay. Perfect.
So, hit 4 or 5.
5, 6.
Hit 5. Hit 5.
What?
Hit 5.
5 is the proximity grenade. 6 is the
just,
remote.
just do it.
6 is the remote.
We'll just do it because we're not. We don't have any. It hasn't changed yet. Okay, now let's press it. Right, cool.
There we
now
go.
now you hit
And this is G?
it. Yeah, this is G.
I think you're right, Monolithic. Elmo wasn't having it with the controller. I think that's the truth. Because it really did
to
feel
throw.
like ghostly psychic
And
intervention.
then oh, it's stuck in the wall.
Yes.
That's bad.
Oh, they're not timed. They're not timed.
Well,
So it just means you'll try again.
Or can she, maybe the blast radius is such.
well, took care of that problem, I guess.
Right.
It's you actually didn't take much damage. The asbestos that's in your
not
throat now is going to be a problem.
Let me get a little healing juice.
So DX, if we can get multiplayer working
Oh my
at some
God.
point in the next week and a half,
G.
we're gonna do that, and that's pretty cool. You know,
All right, let's watch the grenade.
that is pretty solid.
No, you put away the thing.
fuck.
Now you can't activate it.
Balls.
All right, we'll try blowing right now. Hit 6. and then just click. See if
There you go.
No, other
Nope.
All right.
Ooh,
Now,
that looks promising.
Oh no, it's still there.
Definitely still there. Oh my god.
That was good though.
I mean, it was great.
Come on, Tracy. We believe in you.
Can do it.
Grenade throw.
Oh, I like this.
Go back so we need to be able to see because it seems to be like an in-air thing.
Fuck.
This is a sticky wicket.
I'm
we just
very.
haven't
Hang
learned
on.
how to do it
Hang
yet.
on. What's the quick load?
They are a menace
Quick
to
close. Oh,
society.
that was quick save.
What? No, that was F6 that I pressed, not F5.
Oh, thank
So
goodness.
DX was
Just just go to escape. Sorry, I was
It's okay.
terrified.
was that single player? Was that actual
And then we hit 6.
a cheat, or was
Number
that something
6.
they had included in the original one?
So I think we need to get closer
That's cool.
because that keeps happening, or not happening that way. These turns are a menace to society. No, I think we need to get closer. Like, I don't think the alarm on the point man is good. See?
It's not very good, no.
That was a sweet in-air blow up.
Yeah, it was. Look at that. That looks promising.
Nah, there's the bullet still.
Still
Yeah,
going.
we got to run closer and throw. So let's
Oh,
wait for
boy.
that full charge. Kobe the nade. We don't have enough of an arm yet. Alright, you can do this, Tracy. Slow-mo. Keep
Slow-mo.
going, keep going, keep going. Throw here.
Shooked.
Good. Oh, this looks it. Click. Yes! It didn't
It's
destroy
still
it.
there.
That was
Oh my
perfect.
god. Ah.
All things
it's gotta
considered,
be-
that was really good. Give yourself a nice D for a heal. Alright.
Yum
Give
yum.
yourself another Z. I feel like, could you just shoot some bullets at it now?
I feel like I would hope.
It didn't do anything last time.
Well, what is it? Just got
Well,
perfect
maybe
DR?
it's just really.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta be able to shoot it.
Oh my god,
We're
I'm
gonna
still.
hit a little bit.
Yeah.
You might try the beat. Like,
Ah! God damn it!
shall,
That-
I'll give it a try.
That turd is dynamite.
One more chance.
You want one more
Give
chance?
me
Oh, it's
one more
past the
chance.
3-minute thing, but
It's-
it is.
oh,
we,
is
we
it?
just
Are
fought-
we? Okay.
Don't worry about it. You fought a turret for the last 10
Yeah,
minutes.
this is a little bit.
All right, just run through.
Okay.
Just run through.
Yes. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's...
look, there's Fiddle. Not Fiddle.
Holy...
That's the other guy. It's the other guy. I
Oh,
just
wow.
found Fiddle.
Look at that devious little shit. Sitting there all smug and...
I'm fine!
Woo! Just give yourself the
I
heals.
fucking did it!
Give yourself the heals.
Z,
And give yourself the F5.
and F5. See, you just ignore the turrets
Yes.
and run.
That's true in
I
life.
think.
Ignore the turrets and run, everybody.
Yeah, ignore the
You heard it here
turrets.
first.
Life got you down, ignore the turrets and run.
Alright, so is there a button over here to have us turn off the turrets? Because he was at the computer. With his cacti stealing grubby fingers.
Yeah, I don't really see anything.
Alright, well. Continue on behind you then. Because there's a door. Without the little. Where's the motion sensor? Okay, we're gonna have another turret, I'm sure. There it is.
Yep. What?
Alright,
Oh.
so you'll slow-mo your way through it. You can't shoot around the box.
Maybe we've been thinking about these turrets all wrong.
That
Maybe
we are supposed to just run.
Yeah, just run.
Well, I mean, you gave the advice, so. Slow-mo time.
Right. Like this, because they're right there. Yeah, to left.
Ooh, what? Nope.
Right there, yeah.
Hide in the corner. Hide in
Yeah,
the corner.
in the corner.
Just hide. Oh, yeah.
So maybe it is just a matter of like, you could this for
And then hang out. And then you can, because it gets bored after a little while.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now the slow-mo run again.
Okay. Just actually, no
Not
damage.
that way. Not that
Not
way.
this
damage.
way.
You need shoot on the
Yeah,
light.
fuck.
Oh no. Oh,
Yep.
Okay,
that
but,
didn't work.
but
Okay.
that would work.
Sweet.
That would work.
That's unfortunate because you chose wrong in what direction to go.
Yep.
Turrets just want to hug you with bullets.
That's the only way they can express love is high velocity pieces of love.
You know, I feel that.
Bullet hugs. That's pretty neat.
Okay.
That's where we came from.
I think that's the way we came.
And this is where we were.
Yep.
So what happened to our not friend?
Well, he was in this room a second ago.
And then he just split.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
he's got some stuff going on, doesn't he? 2 direct frag grenade impacts to be destroyed. Just spam the slow-mo into them.
We'll try.
Yes. Or running scared also seems to work a little bit. Yeah.
Going back. I was wondering if I could grenade over this to hit anything that might be stopping. Because it defies video game logic we could shoot from this angle. But it's like, well, maybe.
Maybe.
That's the
Jump
slow-mo
the
music.
bullets. Jim says that would be pretty neat. I think Halloween is probably the fall. All the spooky stuff that's on TV right now. I'm a fan.
I love Halloween.
Yes. It's just neat.
I like my birthday.
When's your birthday?
It's November.
Ah.
So,
Almost Halloween.
Yeah, it's kind of like, every year.
I mean, it's on the other side of Halloween.
It's still technically, I mean...
Wear the one ring and go. That's the plan, Mishu. That's the plan. That's what we're going to do. We just need to call in our bodyguard to take the bullets for us. Oh, you got it.
There he
You got
is.
it. You got it. You got it. And that's a checkpoint save. That's awesome. Easy.
Alright, quick save. Give a little heal.
Do a little dance.
Make a little jump. And
Make a little jump.
Get shot tonight.
Shark tonight.
Aww. Alright, things are looking up.
Things are looking up. I feel like this is really coming together for us. We've got 6 health packs. We got nice.
I don't know.
Turret.
Can you, jump and crouch at the same time?
Yes.
It's gotta be the way,
It might be an out, not an in.
because you can't. There you go. Oh, but that would have been.
Oh.
You have one new
That would have
message.
been.
First message from
Bill Moody.
Bill Moody.
This is Bill Moody. Sorry I didn't get back to you sooner, but we got a little behind schedule. I'm still out here at the South River Treatment Plant. Anyhow, I've got some preliminary results for you. All the compounds you had me test for are present, although the concentrations are significantly higher than expected.
Okay. Compounds in the water treatment plant. Is it possible that these people are actually experimenting with the city's water supply?
I was
Sounds like it.
under the impression that the idea was that they were using the water plant as a front.
That's what I thought too.
And so they're like, uh-oh, we accidentally put some of our experimental stuff into the water. Oopsies.
Oops.
That's why you have to have all that experience to use the vent turny thing.
I've told you before, the psychotropes don't go in the general drinking water. Ooh.
Excuse me? Could you help move the box?
A little help.
Who's this?
Oh yeah, come on in.
All right, everybody scoot.
Yes, actually,
Everybody
let Nathan get in. Hey everybody, it's Nathan Grigg, the sound master of F.E.A.R. Nathan, do you know how to help get us out of this crazy situation?
Man, okay, so we're talking
Yes.
2005, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
2005. 13 years ago.
It's been a while since I played this.
Like the back of your hand, right?
Right.
Yeah, like the back of my foot. I just don't know which side the back is.
Soundmaster, the
Alright.
God, DX says right there. You can see chat.
Hi, Dad.
Thank you.
Right. That is super cool.
So, can I start with this one?
Yeah.
Which was Snake Fist.
Yes.
Did you sing it?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
So, we were told rumor was that you sang it. So, rumor confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah, rumor confirmed.
Definitely.
You
Now,
could
of
hum
course-
a few bars.
Now, of course, that's true too. You know.
Yes, of course.
You don't get the glorious snake fish. We hold off until we're 2 games in for that.
The Sound Lord.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I can't take responsibility for sound effects. I'm specifically music in this game. Although I will say that this was the first franchise where I sort of felt like we were really blurring the boundaries a lot. We did a lot of very textural work and very synchronous worked with events in this game, and on the sound design side, we had a lot of stuff going the other way, where a lot of the ambience, had some tonal qualities as well, and so we really sort of worked together on this. Big props to James Ackley and Brian Pamantuan, and we had Kristen Queevy was working with us as well.
Brian was on this too?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. Kristen helped us do a lot of work on the implementation side, and Christopher Melroth was on our team as well. 2005 was an interesting year. We released 3 titles. We released this, we released The Matrix Online, and we released Condemned. So there's a lot going on. Christopher was pretty Matrix focused when we were working on F.E.A.R. And then Brian got very heavily into Condemned's production.
That's another game we're going to try to play.
Oh, excellent.
Just like Monoliths. We call it the F.E.A.R Fest because F.E.A.R, right? But it's like, yeah, we're going to try to get to some Condemned 2 after this. We're muddling our way slightly through as we go. But we're actually, I shouldn't say that. I muddle. Jared and Tracy play very well. We had Ellie come on yesterday for a little bit of time too.
Very cool.
Yeah. So it's interesting when you talk about that, like you were doing the music, but like it's true. There's so much collaboration between the sound effects and between music. Like
right.
that's kind of a spectrum, isn't it? Like.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like I said, with this game, it was, when I started approaching this game, I was writing a lot of specific thematic sort of event pieces. I was sort of gravitating toward that, looking at how the environment changes depending on what has just happened, and trying to support that with specific scripted pieces of music. And Craig Hubbard, the lead designer, came to me and said, I really just want a bunch of loops that I can just sprinkle around the levels and experiment with. And I was like, well, it's kind of counterintuitive with what I was thinking about. But then I started working on it. It was actually really quite liberating to just create, just a series of very, unnerving ambient pieces that I could just, kind of not really concern myself too much about where they were going to go. I just made a big library full of them, and then basically from there, then I went back to my more event-based work, and then I had these pieces that I could sort of use as things to go to in between those events, and that worked really well.
So how? Because I see that a lot more, hear that a lot more now in video games where they have the music is sort of floating and it knows how to crescendo and how to pull away depending on the actual scenes. But for this time, 2005, was that pretty cutting edge, or was that something that you saw games starting to do more? The floating music as opposed to like just the track that would play at certain moments.
Right. It really depended on the game. I mean, obviously there were games even back then that were very granular in terms of kind of, how they wanted to react to various things that the player did. And we were an action game, so we were only going to get so granular because we were really kind of still looking for a generally cinematic kind of sound. So it wasn't about Mickey Mouse reacting to everything. Oddly, this game, we were kind of in between sort of sound engine support for these sorts of things. So up until No One Lives Forever 2 and Tron 2.0 were running, plenty of titles before that. AVP2 was this too. We were running direct music, which allowed us to create transitions on music boundaries and sort of program music to react to various conditions in the game seamlessly. And this game didn't have that in it at all. We were actually just using the sound system to run the music. And so in a way, the system inside this game was, technically more primitive than the games we had done previously. But what I'd sort of discovered just based on the type of work we were doing and how we wanted it to react that, you know, we didn't really need as much of it. A lot of the transitions in this game are based on jump scares. So, you know, when you have those sorts of things and realizing that I could kind of use those jump scares as sort of hinges between things that are happening behind the scenes, that I was able to get quite a bit of mileage out of it. What was, you know, technically a pretty simple sound engine. We could layer things, but you know, we didn't really have a system for, you know, marking time and saying, oh yeah, this is a musical phrase, therefore transition off of this phrase. We didn't really have anything like that going on in here. But there were so many things that we needed to immediately script and react to, that I sort of figured out, you know, creative ways of working with what we had to, you know, to make something, you know, compelling. It was fun.
Was that part of LithTech, or was that some other option that you had used at the time?
Well, LithTech for several games before this, as I mentioned, it, you know, supported the direct music platform, and Microsoft kind of started to pull away from it in itself, even though that was an acquired tech from Microsoft, and you know, I was actually at Microsoft during the acquisition of that tech.
Oh wow!
And had actually worked with that tech, getting it into you know, the earlier versions of MSN were running it, and we were trying to get looking into it, but this was pre-Xbox, so they had, you know, but you know, fun of it, I saw Monolith's demo of Shogo. They actually came to Microsoft and showed that they were doing direct music, and I'm like, oh, guys, they're putting this in the games, you know. And that's where I sort of saw the most potential of this kind of interactive music. It's not really so much on, you know, web browsers, but really in games is where it really needed to go.
Right.
It's you know, good fortune, and I was able to kind of hook up with Monolith during Aliens vs. Predator 2 and start working on the products. And
I was going to say, AVP2, that was your first project at Monolith?
That was my first project where I was internally, you know, at Monolith as an employee. I had actually worked on the first No One Lives Forever game as sort of a direct music arranger, taking a lot of the content that Guy Whitmore had originally authored, and then started to, you know, expand off of those things and sort of create adaptive arrangements of that work, and I did that along with a team of some folks. And then it was really during AVP2 that guy who was originally at Monolith as an audio director had moved on and started doing some independent work, and Monolith was looking for some more music support, and that's kind of how I sort of came into working with Monolith internally.
And the rest is history.
Correct.
All the way through Shadow War.
Right.
Let's say quickly, Mishu, Matt Allen, actually, because we were talking about him for Condemned.
Sure.
When we do the Condemned, we're going to actually try to drag Matt in here. He said that he's totally game to do it, so we're going to get to him.
Nice.
I want to get the question from DX, because DX has been a fan from day one and actually knows way more about F.E.A.R than any of us sitting on this couch, save probably you. So DX asks...
He probably knows more about it than I do.
There's tons of stuff.
Yeah.
So was there a specific thought process behind the combat loops? HLZ Takeover, Replica Battle, and Garage Battle, sorry.
Okay. I'm trying to think about those. So, I mean, I guess I just want to talk a little bit about kind of the music in general and some of the things that I was experimenting around with. The action music, I was mainly thinking about I was actually experimenting with a lot of new types of processing. The game, when we were working on this, a lot of convolution processing had just sort of become accessible. And a lot of this stuff wasn't even real-time stuff. It was just like things that you could just sort of process different sounds through, and you could use other sounds as sort of impulses to push that audio through, and I was doing a lot of experiments with that.
What's convolution processing?
It's basically like...
I mean, I know what it is, but for the people at home...
It's basically like, instead of... it's basically like taking an environment, a sound of an environment, and using it as sort of an impulse, so that basically you try to take a big like burst of noise and you record that in a stairway or whatever, and then you can basically use that as an impulse so that you can run other audio through it and get the sound of that space. But instead of using that material, what I was experimenting around with is just using different audio sources as convolution. So I was taking human screams and things like that, and using that as sort of ghost image types of effects on the original sounds. And so I was really playing around with that a lot. And I was also just doing a lot of experimenting with just sort of taking in the case of the combat pieces, taking a lot of trying to do interesting processing on the drums as well, so that the drums would affect other elements in the pieces. And so people sort of take that those kind of side chaining processes for granted now, but I was playing around a lot with just using vocal sources and pushing drums through them and having the vocals kind of key in and out, sort of responding to what was going on with the drums. I think a lot of this kind of stuff these are, I'm not speaking technically, but the feel I really wanted was, that supernatural sort of presence that Alma sort of keeps kind of in the environment at all times.
She's always lurking.
Exactly. It's like she sort of permeates the entire environment. And I'm thinking about what can I do to make that feel a constant, and even in situations that are more combat oriented, not just the points when not just the creepy scenes, but really when you're in the heat of battle, I still want you to sort of feel like something is off. And so a lot of these kinds of techniques I sort of came to as I was working, and so they kind of work both in working very heavily with rhythmic material, which sometimes has a bit of a tribal feel, but is also kind of high tech at the same time, just because that's sort of representational of kind of your outfit and kind of its sort of bleeding edge tech that's been deployed, and
high-end commandos.
And trying to really sort of understand the origin of Point Man, which you don't really in the beginning, and trying to fill in those gaps as you're trying to also let the story sort of unfold in front of you.
No spoilers. Oh, that's right. You know what's funny? So neither Jared or I have played this game. I say as a stage whisperer, but these fine folks know this. But that's because I just never had a chance to play it. So now this is the perfect opportunity. We're actually playing as part of the 13th anniversary. Yes. Although I have some suspicions of what's going on. But the origin of Point Man, we know that. This is a great little moment. This is one of the delightful things. That's rad. That's one of the delightful things about this game, is seeing these little moments that appear. That's like always some little extra vignette to keep the interest going.
Right.
One of the things you were talking about when you talked about the atmosphere of Alma coming back, that is something that we've seen still praised to this day. They say that's so cool.
But I've never destroyed one of those.
Right. How did you? We should question that guy. How did you do that? But
there were like 10 of them.
The atmosphere of it, and many people have praised that still holds up. That it's still such a spooky game, and obviously the sound is such an important part of that. The music is such an important part of that. It's really holds up well.
What's interesting about this game is that really it's the first title that I had done any preconceptions about how it should sound at all. So, I mean, from my early discussions with design, we knew that despite the fact that it was an action game, they were actually borrowing a lot from, or they were basically they were inspired a lot by Japanese horror films like The Ring and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of what we were looking at. But beyond that, I mean, because we knew it was also an action game, we really had to sort of invent something from scratch. It's really kind of something, and that was really kind of refreshing to do that. And over the course of just from the bottom up, trying things and sort of coming up with something.
Think about that, like in terms of horror shooters, and I was actually doing some of our social stuff earlier today, trying to describe it. I was thinking horror shooter, right? Like you had Resident Evil, survival horror, but this was fairly novel at the time, if not actually the kind of the first of its kind to be an action horror shooter. I'm trying to think what other games from the 2005 era would have, right? I mean, specifically that period of time, it feels like it was groundbreaking.
The other thing,
a first-person shooter, but like
Resident Evil, maybe.
Well, that's what I see, but that's more
Silent
survival
Hill.
horror.
Yeah,
It wasn't the frenzy, the visceral nature of this.
I think also just looking at sort of the backstory and trying to just basically, hone in on sort of. The nature of Alma and that background, and again, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but I mean, there's a lot of tragedy behind it, and so there's also, some emotional beats that I was able to hit in this game that I don't think I would have expected to in an action title, and so I was that was really. I mean, it was a new direction.
Yeah, new direction. Hey, DX, I want I see your question about the East Indian influence. We're going to get to it in 1 second. I just wanted to follow up quickly with that. So when you talk about like being able to do the music for different scenes, and I realize things have come a long way even from 2005 to today, 2018. But how much were you aware of the scene that was going to play out when you were doing the music? Was that a fairly walked through process, or was it kind of a generality?
Well, as I said, as I played through the levels, I got to kind of know the pacing of what they were, and so there was, like I said, it was sort of a two-track thing. It was like, on one hand, I was making sort of a collection of various pieces that I thought would just be, that would just get under the skin, that were just designed to do that, and without always a clear idea where those looping pieces would go. But then there were specific combat pieces that I would write, or specific linear pieces that would occur, in the game, that I would want to also, that I would spot and be, very deliberate about. But it was sort of also kind of an organic process in terms of the design. Sometimes, Craig Hubbard would just drop in some material of mine, and I would come the next day and I go, wow, I didn't know that was there.
Right.
I could see where he's going with that, though. I think that if I put this in between those two things, then that would actually polish it up. I get where he's going.
That's cool.
But a lot of the, of course, a lot of the implementation was happening on our side as well. We just happened to have a very hands-on lead designer who could kind of get into the levels and try things as well. And so, he surprised me. There'd just be some stuff going, well, that's not really polished, but I think I understand the pacing there. I think what I need to do is I need to, put these places and clean them up and make something that really, that really pushes it over the edge.
That's cool.
Yeah. East Indian influence. I'm not an ethnomusicologist. I
didn't even know that was a word.
Yeah,
ethnomusicologist.
Ethnomusicologist. I'm very intuitive about the kind of sounds that I'm looking for, and it wasn't obviously the characters don't really convey much cultural connection to maybe some of the sources that I've played around with in the game. But there was something about about the tonality of some of the vocal samples that I was playing around with, and combining that with sort of processing to sort of create that sort of ghostly effect, and just I think it resonated in a really unusual way, and maybe not in a direct way. Obviously, we're really kind of we're kind of in the obviously we're in the Western world here, so it's more of a it was just more of an intuitive thing in terms of trying to create a language, and it's kind of a ambiguous sort of world language. And again, I'm not exclusively influenced by Western music, so I listen to a lot of different things, and so some of these languages start to kind of filter in and play part of what I put together. A lot of it is really just listening to sources and saying, this wants to do this, I think this would fit with this, and what if I tuned it differently and played around with these elements to get what I want, and some of those things come from all over the place. So.
There was a little bit of, I think, some of your music stinger right there, as we saw an apparition ghost away.
It's actually for this part, it's because I want people to be able to hear what you have to say, but also to allow the spoopy to truly make its way through. That'll be. So let us all move into the beautiful sounds that you've done. Have an in-game experience of it happening.
Because we are very close to something, huh?
Yeah, well, just because we're seeing spooky stuff. But first, we're going to listen to our messages.
Okay. Well, while that is going on, actually, somebody asked, Mishu was asking, since we've got you here, this is our F.E.A.R stream, but it's a great question. The chanting in the Shadow of War before the fortress assaults. How did we do that? I have a suspicion, but I think really it's
boy, there's a lot of different chanting in Shadow.
And some of it even made it into the game.
Right, yeah. I mean, in some cases, chanting, we could get away with recording very much smaller groups and simply layering them, because a lot of what we did was repetitive rhythmic chanting, and of course you remember the names as well when the war chiefs and overlords come out. That's just a small group of people in a room.
I think it's surreal.
But then they're layered over and over and over again to just sound big.
No, he's not.
That's creepy.
Yeah. But as far as like syncing, we chant the clicks. So basically, that means if I've got a piece of music in mind and a tempo in mind, then we're monitoring that, on headphones or whatever we need to, or at least the conductor is, sort of monitoring that on headphones, so that everybody can kind of stay in basic rhythm, and then whatever slop we can kind of clean up on the processing side, on the production side. But basically, the idea is that there's a common tempo to these chants, and we can sync music with them.
That's pretty neat. I have to say, I had heard the term Walla session before from Brian.
Right.
How did that get its name? That's such an odd word that must have an etymology.
Yeah, I should know. I'm on the
I looked it up actually
Did
in
you?
response to that.
Yeah.
It's because people would say the word walla 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 when walking around, and then it sounds like a normal conversation.
It sounds like a normal
when
conversation.
enough people are doing it.
Yeah,
So-
see, I should know that.
Well, now we all do.
Yeah.
That's great, Jared. A Walla session.
Yeah,
It's like Walla,
so because
Walla.
people just say, you could almost call it a watermelon session for the same reason, because when people
Right.
say watermelon, it looks like talking.
It's
Right.
oh, that's so
Oh, it's poop time.
great. Okay, here we go. Let's hear some of this beautiful music.
Okay.
Wait a second. Did we just?
Poop time.
We're in some new facility, right? Is this Alma talking? Is that right?
That would be a very adult voice of Alma.
Oh yeah.
I like the Tracy look around all spooky.
Just look behind over my shoulder.
I'm right there with you.
So there's a question about the intro song, about it
Yeah.
being placeholder, but did it have a name? I don't know if it ever really had
Oh,
a
okay.
name. We just kind of called it an introduction. We were.
He's here.
I think that the question about it being placeholder. I mean, it was specifically written for the game. Originally, we were thinking about using it
Grenade.
for the ending, or a section of the end, or something that we had planned to do near the end. That I think had changed due to some design changes. And so I originally had thought of it as sort of a moment of, sweeping out of sort of this sort of epic, endless combat kind of situation where, the sound effects kind of go away and this thing sort of swells up. It was kind of the original concept behind it. And Craig wanted to sort of try it for the actual intro, which had kind of a... It kind of puts you in a little bit of a dream state. There isn't a lot of heavy, percussion in it or that sort of thing. It's sort of a different feel.
This way.
And I think I remember doing various versions, some of which were a little bit more, business-like and had percussion under it and that sort of thing. And we sort of mutually just ended up sort of agreeing that what we had sort of originally planned for the scene, the ending, that never came together in that way, just worked best, in that intro. And so I ended up, basically, putting some of the final elements in that piece to sort of sync with some of the things that you see in the intro, and sort of formatted it to really fit that in the end. So it was generally I don't know. I'm pretty proud of it, actually.
Yeah, right on.
How that ended
As
up.
you should be.
How that ended up working out. I was. I remember that language that I was kind of putting together, which is sort of half this sort of drone-based cinematic sort of world crossover feel, and then also this sort of almost like sort of Gretzky inspired swelling strings that kind of continue to sort of build up, and sort of kind of just ratchet up emotion all the way through the end. And so I like the duality of those two forces, where you have this drone that's just there and it's anchoring everything, but then you have this other force that's kind of pulling against it. I think it just ended up working really well, kind of in its pure form. I think that some of the other elements that I had tried sort of distracted from it, I think, and that's probably why we ended up kind of going with that version.
Yeah, I have a question, because I've always wondered this, especially about our older stuff. What are the soundtracks? Are those things we can make available to the community? Did the rights go somewhere else? Is that do you know?
I have plenty of people at WB. You're welcome to talk to, and of course, again with this game, this was WB,
right.
So
they publicly distribute it now, though, or at least it appears on Steam.
Gotcha.
I mean, because people have it. I'm sure DX, I bet you have the soundtrack at home,
sure.
but
no,
the
I mean,
actual,
it would be great if all this stuff was just, digitally available via Spotify and all those things.
That would be my dream.
Yeah, I mean that's but I'm not the authority on that. So,
no, I'm continuing that, Jared. We work tirelessly to bring as much as we can to people. We actually just started our own little modest SoundCloud specifically to Shogo. We were able to get the soundtrack for.
Oh, okay.
And then, but yeah, it just depends. I think obviously Shadow of War is one that we get asked about the soundtrack all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it just would be really neat to be able to share more of that material.
Oh yeah.
I will continue that quest.
Sure. Let me know how that goes. I always, I'm always working on the next thing, so I have very little time to.
Oh yeah.
To go and.
I would
try to find all the lawyers I need to talk to. see what can be done.
We would champion that. So like DX is saying that the F.E.A.R 2 was never officially released as an example, and it really is a shame that this, to hear you talk about it, obviously so passionately, to hear how much stuff goes into it, and to see people that really enjoy that music and want it. It's just, and again, I don't sell you. I know you're on board, but it's just like, but yeah, it's like that's the kind of thing we try to unearth and make more available to folks, because it's just not readily available. Let's see. So, Z-Radwan, that's an interesting question. Which is our best genre of game? I mean, you have such a better historical perspective of this, just coming as somebody who's only been at the studio for almost 3 years. I feel like it seems like there was eras of mine, and there was very much an era of like shooters, and there was an era of RPGs at least. That's true. So, like, for the RPGs, the more modern era, I feel like Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor would have to be our touchstones there. And then, shooters, I don't know, do you have an opinion about that? In the shooter era.
Like what our best game was?
Yeah, I mean, just, like, what did you like best? We won't hold you to anything.
No, it's, the reality is I don't really have a favorite. People ask me about that, like what your favorite game was, and I can talk to every game and I can say what I loved about that game. And it's different for every game. Like what I said about F.E.A.R, what I loved about F.E.A.R was developing a musical language from nothing. That was really exciting. And I felt like we had a story and sort of some emotional backdrops that we could draw from that were unique to a first-person shooter at that time. But I mean, if you were to sit down and ask me about Tron 2.0, or you want to sit and ask me about No One Lives Forever 2, or those. All those games, technically in that first-person genre, and Condemned as well. All these games, we're here to talk about F.E.A.R today, but all those games, I would say, I love this because this, and this, and this, and they all have a different
Grenade.
Point to them that is really memorable in terms of the experience of working on it. So.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I just like the fact, it seems like some of the best, biggest milestones of Monolith have all had that storytelling aspect to it.
Sure.
That F.E.A.R has this story behind it. Shogo had a story that people reference a lot as being really fun, and obviously all the No One Lives Forevers had really great narrative.
Yeah, it was incredible working on No One Lives Forever too. I work, and also just kind of taking what was sort of the perceived sort of sound of it, and then from it, and that's always fun too. I mean, it's great to start from scratch like with F.E.A.R, but being able to kind of look at some of these games that have also established sounds and go, well,
to kick him, and I
this is where it comes from, but then we're gonna expand out from here. It's like, oh yeah, this fits too.
You can do one more if you'd like to.
That's a great experience.
Do you know anything about the unused different storyline dialogue that remained in the game files? We have fans. DX is one of them that can just pour through the code and find things that we thought were hidden that are not in fact hidden. But yeah, so this one, I know you had been talking about this, I think the other day too, DX, like some of the different lines of dialogue and stuff, which is something you tangentially touch upon as part of your team, right? Like the team you're on. So yeah, is that what happens? How does different storyline dialogue get in the game in the first place? And just like, is it just easier to cut it but not remove it?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't tell you about that specific if something something that never plays in the game is in the inventory of content, then would have been removed and was overlooked, or
it's very interesting. Some of this stuff, like again, because we did Shogo before this. There was so much stuff that was in the code that people find after the fact. I'm wondering if, nowadays you don't probably see that as much, but once upon a time it was maybe just easier just to be like, we're just not going to have that. But it's still in there.
Yeah.
These are hot seating. How is it going in the campaign?
We're scooting along.
I apparently went a fairly long way without saving, which I was
Yeah.
thought I was being really diligent about it, but I don't know. I guess after a while I just got into the zone.
It's so crazy.
Because I was definitely way past this.
So you were saying when you were engaging all of this stuff. So how long roughly? I mean, I'm sure you're thinking about the music from the moment the project begins. When do you start? How long does it take you, and when do you start thinking in earnest about the sound, the music for a game?
Well, I try to do that as early as possible. There's usually opportunities to prototype ideas. Generally, publishing side, they want to see what we're about when we want to put on a show, and so there's always going to be something that is being put together pretty early in the process where we can just kind of jump in and start playing with ideas and sort of getting a feel for kind of what the sound is going to be for that. So every game, gives you the opportunity to do that, even though, you may not make the bulk of the material by then. You may be able to, create foundational themes that you can collaborate and work with, which is great, and, the sooner you do that, the better. But as far as like rubber meeting the road and like being able to like put everything into the game, I mean sometimes you have to start to collate various things based on dependency. So if I've got if I'm doing music that I know will fit in a level and I've got even decent concept art for it, I can start making that material because there's not really much going on synchronization-wise. If I'm working on a cinematic, obviously that needs to be locked timing-wise before I can touch it. And so there are various, and then there's a lot of material that's somewhere in between, So I try to start hitting the things that I know will have the most potential to be used by changes early, so that I'm sitting on a mountain of that stuff by the time all the stuff comes in really late that that I need to wait for to be perfect before I hit. There's material that is like that too, and so
It kind of makes me think we love concept art because it's of great interest to people because they get to see the ideas behind the final product.
Right.
So is there a music equivalent to that of like a concept art, like concept clips, pieces that you go through? Because I feel like whenever I stop by your office, when I'm lucky enough to, you're always doodling on some music, it seems like.
Yeah, they don't really end up being doodles all that much.
Good night, Mishu.
I sort of find that there's only a tiny percentage that doesn't actually end up getting used.
Okay.
There is a lot of me just pushing along, a step behind, wherever the other disciplines have put out for me, and I'm generally, starting in the very beginning, there's always something that I can start literally coming up with ideas for, and those ideas kind of, I generally don't sketch a lot of things and sort of say, okay, here's just a 2-instrument sketch of what the piece is going to be, because it's not particularly inspiring to do that, in the sense of, I think that in order for, at least in terms of my process, I sort of feel like composition and production and arranging and all those sorts of things, that's kind of one process for me. So it only really gets formalized when we start doing things like live recording. But I can get a piece of music completely in its virtual state in the game and running months before I might do any recording. So a lot of that stuff I try to make as final feeling as possible, so that people really understand. In some cases, you don't really understand the direction until you hear all the things come together. So much of the composition is the selection of sounds and the selection of how those sounds are produced and how they fit together. Maybe at some point there may be a game that, that won't be like that. But so far, the games have sort of, after process than it is like, I'm a songwriter and I learned to use the guitar and I figured out the song and here, let me play it for you, and I'm just gonna strum it out on the guitar, and it's like the song's done, but we're gonna go and record and produce the song and make it, really fit the environment. It generally don't work that way. That's all the production and everything is all kind of done at the same time. I'm not saying that that's the only way to work, and it's not always the best way to work, but it's the way that I sort of felt was the most compatible with the way our development process works.
So if somebody were they wanted to start out and wanted to start doing this as a living, what would you recommend in terms of software to master or process, or how would you try to get into the industry as a sound person, as a composer?
Well, I mean, you asked about tools, but I think it's also about relationships. Because everybody usually ends up using the same tools. I mean, I can tell you the kind of tools that I use, and they may be just slightly different than someone, at a developer down the street or whatever might have, or then there will probably be a lot of commonalities. So without shop talking too much about that end of it, I would say more about, I recommend sort of approaching the situation like, there are great communities out there of composers and sound designers that that can get together and shop talk and talk about gigs and talk about potential, and that's fine, but I'd seek out people that you think might need something. And other composers and sound designers may not need what you have because they're doing the same thing. Developers, on the other hand, there's a lot of new tech coming out. Virtual reality's out there. There's augmented reality's out there. There's a ton of startups, and it's like not all of them have figured out their audio solutions. So getting in from that angle and trying to kind of get dialogues going that may start very informal, but then you sort of realize that maybe you're the only person with that, really thinking about their problem. And once you get to position yourself where I'm the person thinking about your problem and I'm trying to figure out a way to solve it and partnering with you to solve that problem, then you're more visible than you are if you're just sending cold demos out.
I think it feels like the artists of the world sort of have an advantage with deviant art, basically. Where they can submit their concept art or their models, and it's a neat community. You get peer-based feedback, but also people looking for artists. Smaller studios will look there for stuff. Is there a sound or music equivalent? Is SoundCloud?
I'd probably say SoundCloud, but, or that type of thing might be the closest that you get to it, because
you get that peer-based.
Yeah, people can comment on your work, and they can even put specific comments in on a specific time of the points. Like, I really like this part, And so there's that. As far as community support, that's great. But again, find people that might need that type of work, but maybe haven't even realized it. Again, it's not really so much other musicians. It's the people doing the work that you need to collaborate with. It's spend more time with developers. It's kind of my thinking. Is find out, go to tech startup conventions and things like that. Do that at least as much as anything you do on the audio side as far as community, because you could just end up, you could walk into a community full of tech folks that have that haven't even really, you might have ideas for them that they hadn't even thought of before. So it's that type of dialogue is crucial, I think, in terms of just finding a way, and then you sort of develop network of people that have like interests from there.
I have to say that's really sound advice. Sound advice. That was a pun I did not even mean. But there was a time when I was doing some indie game development, and I have to say that was one of the things that my contemporaries and we didn't think about music that much because we were so busy with the design and the development side of things. And then we would be, we would meet some music people who would say, hey, have you thought about some original music for your game? And they were willing to cut us a really screaming deal because they were trying to get started too.
Sure.
And it was great because that was something we would have overlooked.
Right.
And then in retrospect, having that unique sound made such a difference to the overall product.
Yeah, absolutely. And and these people do need it, and those gigs may not at first be all that lucrative, but they are your way in.
Yeah.
Think of it. It's like it's. Just looking at that, it's not like think of it like graduate school or something like that.
Yes.
Think of it more like a
internship
gateway.
kind of almost.
Yeah. It's like don't have the expectation that we're profitable from day one more than, hey, I'm going to be able to build some skills and develop a network and find people with common interests and goals.
I want to say quickly, so MTF, thank you for joining us from Mixer. And we did make F.E.A.R. And specifically, we're talking to Nathan Grigg, who did all the music for F.E.A.R. And so that's why we're talking to him about the score and a little bit about the sound. So if you have some questions for him, let us know. Otherwise, we're just playing through the game because it's our 13th anniversary, and we thought it would be a fitting time in October to do that. Because it'd be pretty, I assume, oh my gosh. The Shadows also in this, just as an aside, play such a cool, creepy role. As in the voicemails. I love these.
New message.
From your mother.
Harlan Wade.
Hi, it's Harlan Wade. I've been trying to get hold of Genevieve all week, but the bitch never picks up her fucking phone. Now look, if you see her, tell her we're in deeper shit than I thought. Her brilliant idea of reopening the vault set something in motion that I can't explain, and I don't know how to stop. I sure hope
That's
she's
great. I love Harlan Wade. He's got such a filthy mouth. Every voicemail is just, you're fucking screwed now. This is awesome.
Eat him some soap.
Is, the worse for wear.
So to get to a AAA level, just for the curiosity of it, at this point, it would be pretty rare for somebody to go straight out of school to the top of a AAA opportunity to create the soundtrack. Like, is it a thing now you kind of have to work your way up, or is like through the indie or do you think there's still those opportunities for people if they majored in music, let's say, or they went to Digipen?
Given I started in 1993,
right?
Let me see how this. How does it work now?
How does it work now?
Right. I think that there are some parallels in the sense that, but there weren't. I mean, I think that the entry point to just even making a game in 1993 was pretty much like, people weren't really thinking much about AAA versus casual back then, or they were all, there was a wall to climb to get a game done, and obviously the tech was way primitive. I was doing first games that I had done scores and sound design for were I was working on the Sega Genesis platform. I was working on Nintendo, so I was doing 16-bit platforms, often with 8-bit chips in them, with 6 voices and
before chip tunes were ironic.
Right now they're retro cool.
Yeah,
but, it's like at the time that was it, and my clients didn't think they were retro cool. They were listening to CDs and they said, we want something that sounds like the CD I've been listening to.
Yes.
So it's a different era, but Oh, now you got me distracted. What was the question again?
Oh, it was just about well, it's funny. You just talking through how things have changed even is a way to go about it for sure. About how people can get the start. Is it realistic for someone to say, "Hey, I'm going to get straight out of training.
I'm going to go right into
and
AAA.
Go straight into the top of AAA." Yeah.
Well, I mean, there are obviously developers that are working on AAA, and it's not unheard of to come out of a school like DigiPen and get an entry level position.
Thank you, Bloodstream.
In a place like this. But yeah, I mean, if I were to trace my own path, it was all, back when developing a video game sort of felt like a startup for everybody because it was a pretty young industry. Then doing work as sort of a audio lead and a sound designer for reference products and CD-ROM titles and things like that through Microsoft and other sources. Eventually winding up here. But again, I was here during a time when a typical dev team was about 30 people. And I don't know if anybody actually has managed to last through the entire credits of Shadow of War, but they're about 45 minutes long or something like that.
Yeah.
So that gives you an idea how many people are involved in the game now. I would say that I was about 8 years into a career before I got to Monolith. Yeah.
Is that Harlan Wade?
No, it's not. I shouldn't tell you that.
That's all right. I was like,
okay, it might be Harlan.
Right, it might be Harlan.
Yeah.
We've had some crazy bodies just being thrown out places.
Thanks, DX.
Thanks, DX.
The roof guys, and I came back in here. I was like,
Yep.
Hey.
All right. I was like, this is so creepy. I love
Alma.
I all love Alma. We saw some really great Alma cosplay that we showed recently. I would love to see some Halloween pics of folks dressed up like Alma. Wouldn't that be neat? Yeah, that's
so spooky.
Yep, so far so good. I mean, even the coffee break room is just chilling. It's just chilling.
There's nothing of interest here.
Oh, they're on a coffee.
Look,
Yeah,
the lunch break. Oh, that's cool.
that is really cool.
The shell falls down too.
Like more and more, I've been having a lot of fun with the destructible environments. Like, definitely much more so than some of the previous Monolith games. So it still holds up, Nathan. It does. It does. It really does.
Yeah, it's
Just trying to figure out where to go.
Yeah.
We've solved the roof puzzle question.
Right. The hint, Alienware. That's a great hint. It's also just obtuse enough that...
Oh, okay.
Is that because Armicum is actually a Shogo-inspired computer and therefore... We're gonna go probably for another, just like 7 minutes.
7
You
minutes,
wanna see it out with us?
7 minutes is fine.
I feel like we're getting very close. Oh,
Heartless.
What?
Jared.
I'm improving the decor of that desk. See,
was that Alice Wade though? Was that Alice Wade?
I don't know. We have to check the tape.
There's a name tag on the thing.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Right
Right
there.
there.
Boosh. Okay, so that is.
Celiche Wade.
And you did just blow away her portrait.
So the conversation that was happening was that her dad was like, "You have to get out. It's dangerous." And then we found Ceiling Jam Man, and Ceiling Jam Man has fallen to the floor. Then Alma came by,
Right.
and we were like, "All right."
And she's probably telling us to go that way. Can we shoot out any of those windows?
I have
broken
tried.
2 of them.
No.
But once again, we have the
There's
OP
stuff in the
chair
way.
again.
Those chairs are dynamite.
Yes, the
Yeah,
best
is there-
blockhead.
If you turn tight in that
It
corner,
just
there's no
seems
extra
so.
door.
DX, who has been
Okay.
one of the true stalwarts of the F.E.A.R trivia, is also one of our strategists who helps us get whenever we're jammed. Helps us get unjammed. In fact, here's a fun fact: entirely different Alice Wade model than the one used in the game.
Go far enough this
Driving
way, I
you a little
guess.
bit nuts. I'm sorry, Tracy.
Yeah, see, that's so interesting. The content that, like, I don't know this, but I would be willing to bet that probably Shadow of War has not nearly as much extra hidden, not used content. Because it just seems like over the years, studios have been better about paring stuff like that down.
Sure.
But I just, it's fun, some of the old games. Like, oh yeah, I found all this stuff.
Yeah.
It fell.
Yeah.
It's probably
was
harder to pull the
spooky.
material apart now.
Yeah.
Than it is on these PC titles, you know.
Yeah. It seems like code was more better.
This was actually one of the first areas that I worked on in the game. This elevator sequence.
This is cool.
This is again using loops and then using scare events like the elevator sliding down and you know, as ways to sort of the hinges between various background pieces and sort of kind of coming up with a way of pacing.
So
The idea of just not being just locations that trigger music, but events, and then having those events, and you know, even having that place that you're in, even if it's the same place, does not feel the same because this thing happened.
That's
and,
cool.
Really, you know, taking that philosophy and really kind of thinking that through.
And so we were saying earlier, like how it's interspersed. Is that procedural or authored, or what combination is it? Because like things can happen that the player can do would elicit some kind of music, and then there's these set piece moments you're talking about where it can have this music.
No, I didn't see anything over there.
I think I remember this piece too. It's like there's
Sort of, if I'm wrong, I'm sorry.
metallic spring cracks, and then they're sort of put through. I'm using sort of chords from a choir as sort of like an impulse, kind of like convolution in the springs, cracking and creaking, you know, put through that choir as you're in that cavernous shaft, and then the elevator, there's that sense of, you know, the elevators aren't stable, and wanting to kind of get that into the music.
That is so cool. We were talking about this earlier. Apologies. Unfortunately, in order for this to hear, the mic can get the feedback, so we're not able to fully embrace the entire soundscape.
Right.
So you got this like very.
Every once in a while, I'll hear it's like, oh
I
yeah,
know.
okay, that's
A lilting
I remember
chord.
that thing. But can our audience? hear it?
Yes.
Okay. Then
Yes.
Then they'll know what I'm talking about.
Yes, the
Okay.
game audio. For the home audience is much better
Right.
than the very soft tinkling we're hearing here. We actually played 2 days ago. Tracy and Zane and I played where we didn't have any sound, and that was a really rough hang.
Yeah.
That was really rough.
It was pretty entertaining from our side because it was like we would be hearing something crazy that's scary, and then they would just be like super brave and be like,
We didn't hear anything.
Yeah, no, it was definitely not as good of an experience.
And even from the tactical standpoint of, like Zane had pointed out, you know, you don't hear people flanking or they got me.
to be honest, I just want to make people skeletons.
Yeah,
That
this weapon is
such
incredible.
a fucking cool gun.
Which
And go poke at the skeletons again, they're like articulated.
all right, they move around.
That's a bloodstream. Big fan. That's awesome.
The important things about the game.
Yeah.
You
Just those little
You can poke
details.
the skeletons.
Yep, and they move at their joints where they're supposed to.
Right. Oh, that is just so neat. So are we supposed to assume that's why we saw earlier all the bodies that had no flesh?
I think it is Alma, and it could be something where like Alma is the original like inspiration for a gun like this.
And this is now in Alma in gun form.
I was gonna say that it's more like, oh, we've learned how to create it based off of Alma's telekinetic powers.
Right.
But I really like it.
It
Yeah.
seems really satisfying.
Okay.
And surely we're getting towards the
Another cactus.
endish What do you think, Nathan?
Fucking health pack.
How are we
my
doing?
dude.
Doing great.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
It was great. Ooh. Billy.
You only have 7 of those left.
I know, that's the
Yeah.
thing.
But I won't waste them.
It's like eating popcorn.
I just want everybody in this room to be excited about Halloween, okay? They're all dressing up as a joint costume.
God, that is fun.
It's so cool.
The joint costume. It's super cool. We'll all go in a group. We'll go clubbing. We'll all be spooky skeletons.
Right. Yep, that is pretty neat.
And with that, it's 5 o'clock.
Oh, did it already become
man.
5 so soon?
Yeah, you guys are almost near interval 7, best interval.
Best interval
All
ever.
right.
That is very cool.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of 6, personally.
Right. You see all the great stuff we did. So much fun.
That was
Very
weird.
good, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for
Glad to be
stopping
here.
by.
Yeah, yeah.
I know people
Fun
gotta
to
really-
get all nostalgic.
Yeah,
All right.
for sure.
All
We
right.
got a lot of really cool stuff. We'll see you.
It's fun to have everybody here.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks,
Nathan,
everybody.
for coming
Yeah.
by.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
that was cool. I'm going to release you now.